Would Elden Ring great spears be great spears in real life? Starting with the lance was a real weapon. This one's more like a stylized jousting lance than what was an actual lance. Historically, axes for warfare were just like long, heavy spears. But you could definitely wreck somebody with this on horseback, but it wouldn't be as good on foot. And the main reason is this isn't used like a traditional polearm. It's usually what's called couched under the arm, which is, holding it like that in your armpit and then holding it right here. And that allows you to transfer more force from your horse into the target, as opposed to just holding it in your arm, which, can move around pretty easily. Like with this, you just have your arm muscles. With this, you've got, like, your entire body. Now, interestingly, something as simple as just putting a polearm under your arm only became really popular around the 300s, and then it was still used alongside using it underhand and overhand on horseback. It took until about the early medieval periods for it to become more common. I don't know, it's just so simple, it's kind of funny. The treespear definitely looks a bit more like a sword staff than some other things, so I think it could definitely be usable. The shaft might be metal, so it would be pretty heavy, but that would just help balance things out a bit more. So you could definitely use it a bit, but it would be tiring and quite the pain to carry. The serpent-hunter in proportions is more similar to a nagamaki than like a other polearm. And that was a Japanese weapon that had a handle that was the proportionate length of the blade, more or less. But this one looks too chunky to really be used. Siluria's tree is definitely unorthodox, but all that weight up there is, in vines or snakes or whatever that is. What is that? So it's not one solid mass, and also it's a different color than the rest of the material, so it could easily be a lighter metal. And aside from that, the 3 blade points would be quite effective. You could do some hooking, you can do thrusting, you can do piercing, but it would be more effective without those branches. However, I've definitely seen worse ceremonial weapons. Vyke's war spear just looks like a pretty thick spear, probably what a medieval lance would have been. It would probably work. Mohgwyn's sacred spear is pretty much just a trident. I mean, that's pretty obvious. The obvious religious tones are a very cool design choice, and even though the blades seem a bit rusted, they would definitely stab into things. And my biggest complaints would be that it's just, rusty, so less effective than if it wasn't. And hopefully those blades on the side have metal running down into the shaft, so that way they're not just like bolted on there and incredibly fragile. Thank you for watching. I am also covering Skyrim weapons, and what else do you want me to cover?